In the vast and endless expanse of space, humanity had always been considered small, weak, and insignificant. To the advanced alien civilizations that roamed the galaxy, Earth was nothing more than a speck, a tiny blue dot floating in the darkness of the universe. The Galactic Empire, a coalition of powerful alien races with technology far beyond human comprehension, viewed Earth as a primitive world, unworthy of attention or respect. They laughed at humanity's struggles, mocked their wars, and dismissed them as pests crawling on a rock. But what began as mockery would soon turn into fear when humanity revealed its hidden strength. The day the Galactic Empire arrived, no one on Earth was prepared for what happened next. It started with strange lights in the sky, bright flashes that streaked across the atmosphere like falling stars. At first, people thought it was a meteor shower or some rare celestial event. But then came the ships. Sleek, metallic vessels descended from the heavens, hovering silently above cities and oceans. Their size was overwhelming. Each ship dwarfed even the tallest skyscrapers. These were not explorers or scientists, they were conquerors. From the largest ship, a booming voice echoed across every radio frequency, television channel, and communication device on Earth. "We are the Galactic Empire," the voice declared. "Your planet is now under our control. Resistance is futile." The message was cold, calculated, and devoid of emotion. To the aliens, this was business as usual. They had done this countless times before, claiming planets and resources without opposition. Why should Earth be any different? At first, panic spread like wildfire. People ran into the streets, pointing at the sky and screaming. Governments scrambled to respond, but there was nothing they could do. The aliens' technology was so advanced that Earth's most sophisticated weapons seemed like toys in comparison. Fighter jets tried to intercept the alien ships, only to be vaporized in an instant by invisible energy beams. Missiles exploded harmlessly against shimmering shields. Humanity's defenses crumbled within minutes. But instead of surrendering, something unexpected happened. As news of the invasion spread, nations around the world began acting differently. For centuries, humans had fought amongst themselves, waging wars over land, religion, politics, and power. Yet now, faced with an enemy from beyond the stars, they realized they had no choice but to unite. Leaders put aside old rivalries and called for global cooperation. Scientists, engineers, and strategists gathered in secret facilities, pooling their knowledge and resources. Humanity was preparing for war, not just any war, but a fight for survival. Deep beneath the surface of the moon, hidden from prying eyes, construction teams worked tirelessly. Massive machines drilled tunnels into the lunar crust, creating underground factories where humanity's greatest project was taking shape. Using fragments of ancient alien technology discovered decades earlier in Antarctica, researchers had reverse-engineered incredible advancements. This wasn't science fiction. It was real, and it was happening right under the noses of the invaders. While the Galactic Empire believed they had already won, humanity was quietly building its response. Engineers designed starships capable of traveling faster than light. Physicists developed weapons powered by zero-point energy, capable of obliterating entire fleets in seconds. Artificial intelligence systems coordinated logistics, ensuring that every resource was used efficiently. And at the heart of it all was the Eclipse fleet, a collection of colossal starships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Each vessel in the fleet was larger than cities, bristling with cannons and missile launchers. The flagship, named Vanguard's Wrath, was the crown jewel of humanity's efforts. It stretched several kilometers long, its surface covered in armor thick enough to withstand nuclear blasts. Inside, crews trained relentlessly, learning how to operate the complex systems required to pilot such a behemoth. Every detail was planned, every contingency accounted for. Humanity knew they couldn't afford to fail. Meanwhile, the Galactic Empire grew increasingly arrogant. Back in their home territories, they broadcasted footage of their conquests, showing images of Earth's pathetic attempts to resist. Alien leaders laughed openly at the idea that humans could pose any real threat. "They are insects," said Admiral Krythos of the Xylorian Legion during a live transmission. "It is almost amusing to watch them squirm." What the aliens didn't know was that humanity was biding its time. Every day brought them closer to completing their preparations. Every hour added another layer of strength to their forces. While the Galactic Empire celebrated their supposed victory, humanity was sharpening its claws, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back. For months, the invaders maintained their presence in orbit, observing Earth and planning their next move. They assumed humanity would eventually give up and submit to their rule. After all, why wouldn't they? From the aliens' perspective, resistance was pointless. Humans were weak, divided, and technologically inferior, or so they thought. Unbeknownst to the invaders, humanity had reached a breaking point. The final pieces of the Eclipse fleet were being assembled. Weapons systems were tested and calibrated. Crews aboard the starships rehearsed battle strategies until they could execute them flawlessly. Earth's leaders held secret meetings, debating the best way to reveal their newfound power. Some argued for a surprise attack, while others wanted to issue a formal declaration of war. In the end, they decided on a dramatic demonstration, one that would leave no doubt about humanity's capabilities. As the aliens continued to mock Earth from their orbital positions, humanity prepared to unveil its ace in the hole. The stage was set for a confrontation that would change the course of galactic history. The Galactic Empire thought they had crushed humanity's spirit, but they were wrong. Very wrong. When the moment finally arrived, the skies above Earth split open, revealing the full might of the Eclipse fleet. The sight left even the most hardened alien commanders speechless. Humanity had come back, not with pleas for mercy, but with a fleet of warships ready to defend their planet at any cost. The invaders' laughter turned to terror as they realized too late that they had underestimated their prey. This was the beginning of humanity's rise, a story of resilience, ingenuity, and defiance. The galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. Deep beneath the surface of the moon, in a labyrinth of tunnels and caverns carved by humanity's most advanced machinery, a secret project was unfolding. It was here, far from prying eyes and alien sensors, that Earth's greatest minds worked, tirelessly to turn the tide against the Galactic Empire. This was no ordinary undertaking. It was humanity's last stand, a desperate gamble to ensure their survival in the face of overwhelming odds. And at its heart lay something extraordinary. Fragments of ancient alien technology discovered decades earlier in the frozen wastelands of Antarctica. The discovery had been accidental, made during a routine scientific expedition. Buried beneath layers of ice were pieces of what appeared to be a crashed spacecraft, remnants of an alien civilization long gone. At first, researchers thought it was junk, the debris of some forgotten interstellar traveler. But as they studied the artifacts more closely, they realized they had stumbled upon something far greater. These weren't just scraps of metal. They were keys to unlocking secrets beyond human comprehension. For years, governments kept the discovery classified, fearing public panic or exploitation by hostile nations. Teams of scientists worked in complete secrecy, analyzing every fragment and trying to decipher its purpose. Slowly but surely, they began to understand how the alien technology worked. The breakthrough came when they managed to activate a small power core embedded in one of the artifacts. It emitted a faint hum, generating energy unlike anything humanity had ever seen. This was zero-point energy, a source so powerful that it could sustain entire cities for centuries. The implications were staggering. With this newfound knowledge, humanity could leapfrog centuries of technological development. Engineers reverse-engineered the alien systems, adapting them for human use. Propulsion systems capable of bending space-time were developed, allowing ships to travel faster than light. Weapons powered by antimatter cores were designed, capable of obliterating even the most heavily armored enemy vessels. Artificial intelligence systems modeled after the alien tech coordinated construction efforts with precision and efficiency that surpassed human capability. But the real marvel was the Eclipse Fleet. Hidden within the lunar facilities, this fleet represented humanity's ultimate weapon, a collection of starships so massive and advanced that they would strike fear into the hearts of any adversary. Each vessel was a floating fortress, bristling with cannons, missile launchers, and energy shields. Their hulls were reinforced with alloys stronger than steel, capable of withstanding the harshest conditions of space. Inside, crews trained relentlessly, learning how to operate the complex systems required to pilot these behemoths. At the center of the fleet stood the flagship, Vanguard's Wrath. It was a monstrosity unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Stretching several kilometers in length, it dwarfed even the largest alien dreadnoughts. Its surface was covered in thick armor plating, designed to repel even the most devastating attacks. Beneath its hull lay a labyrinth of corridors, command centers, and living quarters, housing thousands of crew members. At its core was the primary weapon, a cannon powered by a zero-point energy reactor, capable of unleashing beams of concentrated energy that could slice through enemy ships like butter. Building the Eclipse fleet was no easy task. Resources were scarce, and the project required materials found only in the farthest reaches of the solar system. Mining operations were launched on asteroids and moons, extracting rare metals and minerals needed for construction. Factories on Earth ran day and night producing components and assembling parts. Workers labored under immense pressure, knowing that failure was not an option. Every bolt, every wire, every piece of equipment had to be perfect. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence played a crucial role in coordinating the effort. Dubbed Athena, the AI system acted as the brain behind the operation, managing logistics, optimizing workflows, and ensuring that every aspect of the project ran smoothly. Athena monitored supply chains, allocated resources, and even assisted engineers in solving complex design challenges. Without her, the project would have taken decades instead of years. As the fleet took shape, humanity's resolve grew stronger. Leaders from around the world visited the lunar facilities, marveling at what their species had achieved. They knew that this was more than just a military endeavor. It was a symbol of hope. For centuries, humans had fought amongst themselves, divided by borders, ideologies, and greed. Now faced with an existential threat, they had come together as one. The Eclipse fleet was proof that when united, humanity could accomplish the impossible. Yet despite their progress, there were challenges. Some questioned whether the project was worth the cost. Billions of dollars were being poured into the effort, money that could have been used to address problems on Earth, poverty, disease, climate change. Others worried about the ethical implications of using weapons so destructive. Would humanity become the very thing they were fighting against? These debates raged quietly behind closed doors, but ultimately the decision was unanimous. Survival came first. Everything else could wait. Back on Earth, life continued as usual, for the most part. Governments maintained a facade of normalcy, issuing statements of reassurance to calm public fears. But behind the scenes, preparations were underway. Military bases were upgraded, stockpiles of food and supplies were amassed, and evacuation plans were drawn up in case the worst happened. Civilians were largely unaware of the true scale of the threat, or the extent of humanity's response. To them, the alien presence in orbit was a distant concern, something happening far above their heads. The aliens, meanwhile, remained oblivious. Confident in their superiority, they saw no reason to suspect that humanity was planning anything. Their leaders broadcasted messages of triumph, boasting about their conquest of Earth. Footage of Earth's failed resistance efforts was shown across the galaxy, accompanied by laughter and ridicule. Admiral Krythos, commander of the Xylorian Legion, famously referred to humanity as insects during a live transmission. "They are amusing to watch," he sneered, "but ultimately insignificant." What the aliens didn't realize was that humanity wasn't playing their game. While they mocked and taunted, Earth was preparing to unveil its ace in the hole. The Eclipse fleet wasn't just a defensive measure, it was a statement, a declaration that humanity would not go quietly into the night. When the time came, humanity intended to show the galaxy exactly what they were capable of. As the final touches were added to the fleet, anticipation grew. Crews aboard the starships rehearsed battle strategies, running simulations and drills until they could execute them flawlessly. Commanders pored over tactical maps, studying potential engagement scenarios and planning countermeasures. Everyone knew that the coming confrontation would be decisive, not just for Earth but for the future of humanity itself. Finally, the day arrived. The last ship in the fleet was completed, its engines roaring to life as it joined its sisters in formation. Deep within the command center of Vanguard's Wrath, General Elena Reyes addressed her crew. "This is it," she said, her voice steady and resolute. "We've trained for this moment. We've prepared for this moment. And now it's time to show the galaxy who we are." Outside, the skies above Earth darkened as clouds gathered. Lightning crackled ominously, as if nature itself sensed the impending storm. In orbit, the alien ships loomed large, their commanders unaware of the fury about to be unleashed upon them. Humanity had waited long enough. It was time to reveal their hidden project, and remind the Galactic Empire that Earth was not to be trifled with. When the moment came, the skies split open, revealing the full might of the Eclipse fleet. The sight left even the most hardened alien commanders speechless. Humanity had come back, not with pleas for mercy, but with a fleet of warships ready to defend their planet at any cost. The invaders' laughter turned to terror as they realized too late that they had underestimated their prey. This was the beginning of humanity's rise, a story of resilience, ingenuity, and defiance. The galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. The moment humanity had been preparing for finally arrived. It was a day etched into the annals of history, a day when Earth would no longer cower before its oppressors but rise up to meet them head-on. The Galactic Empire's armada still loomed, in orbit, their ships casting long shadows over continents as they monitored Earth with arrogant indifference. To them, this blue planet was already conquered, its inhabitants mere insects waiting to be crushed underfoot. But what happened next would shatter that illusion forever. It began with an eerie calm. The skies above Earth were clear, save for a few wisps of clouds drifting lazily across the horizon. People on the ground went about their daily lives, unaware of the storm brewing far above. In space, the alien commanders lounged in their command centers, confident in their dominance. They had no reason to suspect anything unusual. After all, humanity had shown no signs of resistance since their initial feeble attempts months ago. The invaders believed they had broken Earth's spirit. But deep within the hidden lunar facilities, the final countdown was underway. Crews aboard, the Eclipse fleet prepared for deployment, their hearts pounding with anticipation. General Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of Vanguard's Wrath, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. Around her, officers moved with precision, checking systems and confirming readiness. Every member of the fleet knew their role. Every piece of equipment had been tested and retested. There was no room for error, not today. At exactly 800 hours Earth time, the order came through. "Initiate Operation Dawnbreaker," Reyes commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Across the fleet, engines roared to life, bathing the cavernous hangars in a blinding glow. One by one, the massive starships ascended from their underground docks, breaking through the moon's surface like titans emerging from slumber. For the first time, the Eclipse fleet was visible to the galaxy, and it was breathtaking. As the ships entered Earth's orbit, the skies split open. Massive portals appeared in the atmosphere, created by advanced cloaking technology designed to conceal the fleet until the perfect moment. Through these shimmering gateways emerged the full might of humanity's response. The sight was awe-inspiring. Colossal vessels stretching kilometers in length, their hulls gleaming with polished alloys and bristling with weapons. At the forefront was Vanguard's Wrath, its presence alone enough to make even the bravest warrior tremble. The aliens watched, in stunned silence as the Eclipse fleet took formation. Their sensors scrambled to process the sheer scale of what they were seeing. What is this?" stammered Admiral Krithos, his voice trembling with disbelief. He had expected primitive rockets or outdated fighters, something laughable, something easy to crush. Instead, he found himself staring at a force capable of rivaling the most powerful fleets in the galaxy. Before the invaders could react, Vanguard's wrath unleashed its primary weapon. A beam of concentrated energy erupted from its cannon, slicing through 3 enemy dreadnoughts in an instant. The explosion lit up the darkness of space, sending shockwaves rippling through the alien formation. Panic spread like wildfire among the invaders as they realized they were outmatched. The rest of the Eclipse fleet followed suit, opening fire with devastating precision. Plasma torpedoes streaked across the void, slamming into alien shields and tearing through their hulls. Railgun projectiles, moving faster than the eye could follow, punched clean holes through entire ships. Energy beams crisscrossed the battlefield, vaporizing everything in their path. Humanity's weapons were unlike anything the aliens had ever encountered, powered by zero-point energy reactors that made their own technology seem primitive by comparison. Back on Earth, people stopped what they were doing and looked skyward. The battle raging in orbit was visible even from the surface, flashes of light illuminating the night like fireworks. News outlets broadcast live footage of the confrontation, showing the Eclipse fleet cutting through the alien armada with ease. Cheers erupted in cities around the world as humanity witnessed its defenders turning the tide. For the first time in months, hope returned. In space, the invaders fought back desperately, unleashing barrages of missiles and energy blasts. But their attacks proved futile against the Eclipse fleet's superior defenses. Energy shields absorbed incoming fire without so much as a flicker, while automated countermeasures intercepted projectiles before they could reach their targets. Alien commanders screamed orders trying to rally their forces, but chaos reigned supreme. Ships broke formation, fleeing in all directions as the Eclipse fleet pursued them relentlessly. Admiral Krithos, now visibly shaken, attempted to retreat. "Fall back," he barked into his communicator. "Regroup at Sector Delta." But it was too late. Humanity's AI system, Athena, had already predicted his moves and adjusted tactics accordingly. Task forces split off from the main fleet, cutting off escape routes and boxing in the remaining invaders. Within hours, the once mighty alien armada was reduced to smoldering wreckage floating aimlessly in the void. Survivors fled into hyperspace, carrying tales of Earth's wrath back to their homeworlds. Those who stayed behind were captured and interrogated, providing valuable intelligence about the Galactic Empire's structure and weaknesses. Humanity had struck its first blow, not out of aggression, but out of necessity. And yet, everyone knew this was only the beginning. For the Galactic Empire, the defeat was humiliating. Leaders convened emergency sessions debating how to respond to this unexpected threat. Some called for immediate retaliation, while others urged caution, warning that humanity's newfound power could not be underestimated. Rumors spread throughout the galaxy, painting Earth as a rising force to be reckoned with. Some species admired humanity's ingenuity, while others saw them as a danger to the established order. On Earth, celebrations erupted. Cities were filled with parades, music, and fireworks as people celebrated their victory. Governments issued statements praising the bravery of those who had fought and sacrificed for the cause. Yet amidst the jubilation, there was also sober reflection. Leaders understood that peace was unlikely. The galaxy feared what it didn't understand, and humanity's sudden rise challenged the balance of power. Preparations continued, with factories churning out new ships and recruitment drives swelling the ranks of Earth's military forces. General Reyes addressed her crew aboard Vanguard's Wrath, her expression grave despite the victory. "We've won the first battle," she said, "but the war is far from over. The galaxy will not accept us easily. We must remain vigilant, ready to defend our home at any cost." Her words resonated deeply with those who heard them. Humanity had proven itself capable of standing toe-to-toe with the greatest powers in the universe, but maintaining that position would require constant effort and sacrifice. As the days passed, humanity's resolve grew stronger. Factories worked, around the clock, producing more ships and weapons. Scientists pushed the boundaries of technology further, developing upgrades and innovations to keep the Eclipse fleet ahead of its enemies. Diplomats reached out to neighboring species, seeking allies and forging alliances. Slowly but surely, humanity began carving out a place for itself among the stars. Yet even as they celebrated their triumph, whispers of unrest lingered in distant corners of the galaxy. Not everyone accepted Earth's ascendancy, and old enemies plotted revenge. But for now, humanity stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. When the dust settled and the smoke cleared, one truth remained undeniable. The galaxy would never look at Earth the same way again. Humanity had risen, not as conquerors but as survivors. And though the road ahead would be fraught with danger, they faced it with courage, determination, and an unshakable belief in their ability to overcome any obstacle. This was not the end of humanity's story. It was only the beginning. The victory over the Galactic Empire's armada was a turning point, not just for humanity but for the entire galaxy. News of Earth's triumph spread like wildfire, carried by fleeing alien survivors and intercepted communications. For the first time in history, humanity was no longer seen as weak or insignificant. The galaxy watched with a mixture of awe, fear, and resentment as this once primitive species revealed its true potential. But with newfound respect came new challenges. Humanity had struck the first blow, but they knew retaliation was inevitable. In the wake of their defeat, the Galactic Empire scrambled to make sense of what had happened. Emergency sessions were convened in the Senate chamber, where leaders from across the coalition debated how to respond. Some called for immediate revenge, demanding that every available ship be sent to crush Earth before it grew stronger. Others argued for caution, pointing out that humanity's technology rivaled, if not surpassed, their own. Admiral Krythos, humiliated by his earlier failure, vowed to personally lead the next assault. "We underestimated them once," he growled during a heated meeting. "It will not happen again." But not everyone in the galaxy shared the Empire's hostility toward Earth. Smaller factions oppressed by the Empire's tyranny saw humanity's rise as an opportunity. Secret envoys arrived at Earth's orbital stations, offering alliances and support. One such group was the Zyran Collective, a coalition of rebel species fighting against Imperial rule. Their leader, a grizzled veteran named Zorak Ven, delivered a message to General Reyes aboard Vanguard's Wrath. "You have shown us that even the mighty can fall. We wish to stand with you, not as subjects but as equals." Humanity accepted these offers cautiously. Diplomats worked tirelessly to forge alliances while intelligence officers vetted potential partners, wary of spies or saboteurs. At the same time, Earth's leaders understood that trust would take time to build. They issued a clear warning to the galaxy: stand with us or stand against us. The choice is yours. This bold declaration resonated far beyond the borders of human-controlled space, sparking debates among alien civilizations about whether to side with Earth or oppose it. Preemptive strikes. While diplomacy unfolded, humanity took decisive action to secure its position. Knowing that the Galactic Empire wouldn't rest until Earth was destroyed, General Reyes ordered preemptive strikes against key Imperial outposts. These operations were swift and surgical, targeting supply depots, communication hubs, and military installations deep within enemy territory. Task forces from the Eclipse fleet launched surprise attacks, catching the invaders off guard and crippling their ability to launch a counteroffensive. One such mission targeted Proxima Station, a critical refueling point for the Empire's fleet. Under cover of darkness, or rather the void of space, a squadron led by Captain Marcus Hale infiltrated the station using cloaking technology. Once inside, they planted explosives along the facility's core reactors. Within minutes, the station erupted in a fiery explosion, leaving behind only debris and silence. Similar operations followed, each one weakening the Empire's grip on its territories. These strikes sent shockwaves through the galaxy. Colonies that had once been loyal to the Empire began questioning their allegiance. Some declared independence, forming buffer zones between Earth and the remnants of the Imperial forces. Others remained neutral, unwilling to risk entanglement in what promised to be a galactic conflict unlike any other. Propaganda broadcasts from Earth amplified this uncertainty, showcasing humanity's strength while emphasizing its willingness to coexist peacefully with those who respected its sovereignty. Strengthening the fleet back on Earth and in Mycenaean lunar facilities, production lines worked around the clock to expand the Eclipse fleet. New ships rolled out of assembly bays daily, each one larger and more advanced than the last. Engineers incorporated lessons learned from the initial battle, upgrading weapon systems, enhancing shields, and improving maneuverability. Artificial intelligence played a crucial role in accelerating development, analyzing data from previous engagements to optimize designs. Training programs intensified as well. Pilots practiced dogfighting maneuvers in simulated zero-gravity environments, honing their skills against AI opponents programmed to mimic alien tactics. Ground crews drilled tirelessly, ensuring that repairs and maintenance could be completed quickly during combat. Every member of the fleet, from commanding officers to junior technicians, understood the stakes. Failure was not an option. General Reyes also recognized the importance of psychological readiness. She addressed her troops regularly, reminding them why they fought. "We are not here to conquer," she said during one such speech. "We are here to survive and to ensure that future generations inherit a galaxy where they can live without fear. Remember that, and let it guide your actions." The cost of war, despite their successes, humanity paid a heavy price for its defiance. Resources dwindled as factories consumed raw materials faster than they could be mined. Food shortages became common in some regions, forcing governments to ration supplies. Civilians faced hardships as economies shifted to support the war effort. Yet despite these sacrifices, morale remained high. People understood that their struggles today would pave the way for a brighter tomorrow. Not everyone approved of the path humanity had chosen. Critics argued that the cost of maintaining the Eclipse fleet was unsustainable, pointing to rising taxes and strained infrastructure. Others worried about the ethical implications of wielding such destructive power. "Are we becoming the monsters we sought to defeat?" asked Dr. Anika Patel, a renowned ethicist, during a televised debate. Her words sparked heated discussions both on Earth and among allied species. Leaders acknowledged these concerns but remained steadfast in their resolve. "War is never easy," President Jonathan Hayes said in a global address. "But neither is survival. We must endure, adapt, and overcome. Together we will build a future worth fighting for." A new balance of power. As months turned into years, the balance of power in the galaxy began to shift. The Galactic Empire, fractured and demoralized, struggled to mount effective counterattacks. Their once mighty fleets now resembled ghosts of their former selves, haunted by memories of battles lost to Earth's relentless determination. Meanwhile, humanity continued to expand its influence, forging alliances and establishing trade routes with neighboring systems. Earth's capital, city, New Geneva, became a hub of activity as diplomats from across the galaxy gathered to negotiate treaties and discuss cooperation. Scientists exchanged knowledge, sharing breakthroughs in medicine, energy, and engineering. Artists and musicians collaborated, blending human creativity with alien traditions to create something entirely new. Slowly but surely, humanity carved out a place for itself among the stars, not as conquerors, but as innovators and peacemakers. Yet even as they celebrated their progress, whispers of unrest lingered in distant corners of the galaxy. Not everyone accepted Earth's ascendancy, and old enemies plotted revenge. Spies reported rumors of secret experiments and forbidden technologies being developed by rogue factions within the Empire. Humanity couldn't afford to let its guard down. Not yet. For now, though, the galaxy looked up at the stars and saw not just infinite possibilities, but also the indomitable spirit of a species that refused to bow to anyone. The road ahead would be fraught with danger, but humanity faced it with courage, determination, and an unshakable belief in their ability to overcome any obstacle. This was not the end of humanity's story. It was only the beginning. And as long as they stood united, nothing could stand in their way. The galaxy had changed forever. Humanity, once dismissed as weak and insignificant, now stood tall among the stars, a force to be reckoned with. The Galactic Empire's grip on its territories had weakened, its fleets reduced to shadows of their former might. Alien civilizations that once laughed at Earth's struggles now looked upon humanity with a mixture of admiration, fear, and respect. For the first time in history, Earth was no longer just a planet. It was a symbol of resilience, ingenuity, and defiance. After years of relentless conflict, negotiations finally brought representatives from both sides to the table. The venue for this historic meeting was none other than Vanguard's Wrath, humanity's flagship. Its massive hull loomed over the delegates like a silent guardian, a reminder of the power Earth now wielded. Inside, General Elena Reyes welcomed the alien leaders with quiet confidence, her presence commanding respect even from those who had once sought to destroy her people. The discussions were tense but productive. Humanity demanded autonomy, recognition, and reparations for the damage inflicted during the invasion. In return, they offered peace but not submission. "We do not seek conquest," Reyes declared firmly. "We seek coexistence but on our terms. Respect us, and we will respect you. Betray us, and you will face annihilation." The treaty that followed marked the end of open hostilities between Earth and the remnants of the Galactic Empire. Trade routes reopened, allowing goods and resources to flow freely across borders. Colonies devastated by war began rebuilding under joint human-alien efforts. Slowly but surely, trust began to take root where hatred and fear had once thrived. Yet the scars of war ran deep. Entire worlds still bore the marks of battles fought in orbit or on their surfaces. Families mourned, loved ones lost to the conflict. Even as peace took hold, many questioned whether it would last. Could humanity truly coexist with species that had once tried to enslave them? Or was this merely a temporary truce before the next great war? Humanity's place. Among the stars, as the galaxy adjusted to the new reality, humanity continued to expand its influence. Earth became a beacon of innovation and progress, drawing scientists, engineers, and thinkers from across the galaxy. Research facilities sprang up in orbit, collaborating with alien counterparts to push the boundaries of technology further. Breakthroughs in medicine cured diseases that had plagued civilizations for centuries. Advances in energy production provided clean, sustainable power to planets struggling with resource shortages. Cultural exchanges flourished as well. Art, music, and literature blended human creativity with alien traditions, creating something entirely unique. Museums showcased artifacts from both Earth and distant worlds, celebrating the diversity of life in the cosmos. Schools taught children about the shared history of the galaxy, emphasizing the importance of cooperation and mutual respect. But perhaps the most significant change was the shift in perspective. For so long, humanity had viewed itself as small and insignificant, a speck in an infinite universe. Now, they saw themselves differently. They were explorers, builders, survivors. Their rise had proven that even the smallest spark could ignite a fire capable of lighting up the darkest corners of space. Shadows lingered despite the progress. Not everyone embraced humanity's newfound status. Rogue factions within the Galactic Empire refused to accept defeat, plotting revenge from hidden bases scattered throughout the galaxy. Spies reported whispers of secret experiments aimed at developing weapons far deadlier than anything seen before. Some believed these rogue groups sought to harness forbidden technologies, powers so destructive they could unravel the fabric of reality itself. Humanity remained vigilant. The Eclipse fleet patrolled key sectors of space, ensuring that peace treaties were honored and responding swiftly to any signs of aggression. Intelligence operatives infiltrated enemy ranks, gathering information and sabotaging plans before they could come to fruition. Scientists worked tirelessly to stay ahead of potential threats, developing countermeasures against emerging dangers. General Reyes knew better than anyone that the galaxy was still a dangerous place. During a private moment aboard Vanguard's Wrath, she reflected on how far they had come, and how much farther they still had to go. "We've shown them what we're capable of," she said to Captain Marcus Hale, her trusted second-in-command. "But strength alone won't keep us safe. We need wisdom, patience, and unity if we're going to survive." Legacy of hope. Years passed and humanity's legacy grew stronger. The story of Earth's defiance inspired countless others to rise up against oppression and tyranny. Rebel movements gained momentum, toppling corrupt regimes and freeing enslaved populations. Some credited humanity with sparking a galactic renaissance, a period of unprecedented growth and cooperation. Earth itself transformed into a thriving hub of activity. Cities stretched skyward, powered by renewable energy sources developed during the war effort. Spaceports bustled with activity as ships from all corners of the galaxy arrived to trade, learn, and collaborate. Humanity's flag, a simple design featuring a blue circle surrounded by stars, became a universal symbol of hope and determination. Yet even amidst the prosperity, humanity never forgot its roots. Monuments were erected to honor those who had sacrificed everything for the cause. Veterans gathered annually to share stories and remember fallen comrades. Schools taught students about the lessons learned during the war, the value of unity, the cost of division, and the importance of standing firm in the face of adversity. Looking to the future. As humanity gazed toward the horizon, they saw endless possibilities. Exploration missions ventured deeper into uncharted space, seeking out new worlds and civilizations. Colonists settled on distant planets, building communities modeled after Earth's ideals of freedom and equality. Scientists dreamed of unlocking the mysteries of the universe, asking questions that had puzzled philosophers for millennia. What lies beyond the stars? Are we truly alone? For now, humanity stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They had proven time and again that they were capable of overcoming even the greatest odds, whether it was defending their home against overwhelming invaders or forging alliances with former enemies. They had shown the galaxy what it meant to persevere. And so, as the sun rose over Earth each morning, casting its golden light across oceans, mountains, and cities, humanity looked skyward with pride. They were no longer just inhabitants of a tiny blue dot. They were citizens of the cosmos, pioneers charting a course toward a brighter future. This was not the end of their journey. It was only the beginning. But as long as they stood together, nothing could stand in their way.